Hey everyone, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm reviewing Machina Arcana, a Lovecraft meets steampunk dungeon crawler. And no disclaimer for this one, a kind BGG user that I was selling a game to just gave me a copy for free. In Machina Arcana, you have 1 to 4 characters going around these tile-based dungeons, dodging or battling Lovecraftian creatures, using a dice-based combat resolution system, fulfilling different objectives to get through to the end and battle some kind of boss situation. So let's discuss 5 key things to know about Machina Arcana. So first, my number 5 point, the least important to know, but it's still important or I wouldn't mention it, is the monster variety in the game. So you've got a ton of Lovecraftian monsters in the base game. They come in 4 levels of power, and they have different stats and those kind of things. But what's really cool are their different powers and behaviors. Like some of them just sit in place and negatively affect you until you deal with them. Others will viciously chase you down or fire at you from range. Now, the one caveat here is that the game can go on for a while, so by the end of a given scenario, you'll probably have seen pretty much all of the monsters in the base game. So they're not going to feel as varied and exciting forever, but it's still a nice mix of creatures and behaviors. Next, to number 4, which is a mix for my taste, is the campaign structure and the variety in the campaigns. So like I said, in the base game, there are 3 little campaign scenarios to go through. Although Statue of Despair is quite a bit shorter than the others, so it kind of feels like 2.5. And the mechanics of these are really cool. You flip up one card and it becomes kind of like the thematic backdrop with some flavor text as you find out what's actually unique for the given part of the campaign you're doing. And there is a lot of good variety between the campaigns. They even have their own unique negative and positive event cards. But a lot of the campaigns, when you strip away the other mechanics, come down to just reaching a chapter space and lighting it or unlighting it, so they can feel a little bit samey as you play them more and more. Next, at number 3, which is another mix for my taste, are the combat tactics in the game. So let's talk about some big positives. First, there are a lot of ways to kind of deal with the enemies in this. First of all, the scenarios often just want you to run away and sort of dodge around the enemies, which can be pretty interesting. You can block them by closing doors in their face. You can blow them up with explosive barrels. You can push them into pits and instantly kill them, although all this stuff can affect you as well. You can trick them onto trap spaces and fry them with, electricity or fire. All of that is great. Now, where the potential negatives come in, first of all, the game is not well balanced across player counts. Especially True Solo just feels way off because you're trying to collect for most of the chapters these essence points that allow you to progress, and that's way easier to do with more characters collecting them. There's also a random element that might bother some because you're rolling a d10 to spawn monsters, and also rolling for combat, although I found these dice to be pretty balanced, and you roll enough of them that they tend to kind of even out over the game. And yeah, sometimes, again, especially in lower player counts, you just get mobbed and murdered, and the game can be like 2+ hours long, so dying to some unlucky combat results can be pretty frustrating. And that transitions right into my number 2, a big pro, which is related to all that combat stuff. And here I'm looking at the map tiles themselves, and man, these are great because they are so varied. Let me zoom out a bit more to show them. So each of them is double-sided. You've got, I think, 10 base ones, so 20 in the game, and they each have their own flavor for tactical combat. Some of them have more doors and rooms. Some of them have tons of pits to dodge around. Some of them are all about the traps or all about exploding barrels. So even though, as I said earlier, sometimes the campaigns themselves can feel a bit samey, the maps you are engaging in to progress through those campaigns are anything but. There's just a lot of variety here, and it really multiplies those tactical options I just mentioned. And finally, my number 1 point, the most important to know about the game, is the item system. So the 8 characters in the game, who are split among 4 classes, have different stats, a different inborn attack they can use when they're not armed, a little special power. But honestly, as a small negative to this pro point, those characters aren't that different. Where the differences and excitement come in are in these item decks. These are awesome. So you've got weapons, you've got armor, you've got artifacts, you've got consumables, and they have extremely varied powers. They are really exciting. These are big decks of cards, and then you can combo them together with this little connecting system. And yeah, I gotta tell you, nothing else in the game is as exciting as getting these things and building them up. You can get your defense values to a ridiculous place where enemies can barely hurt you. You can get insane weapons like spectral flamethrowers blasting tons of monsters at once. Or you can just bid the monsters bye-bye and teleport through walls. All kinds of awesome stuff that layers into the other things I've mentioned. It makes the tactical combat and avoidance way more interesting, gives the game its biggest element of variety play to play. It's just great. So overall, if you like Lovecraft, if you like steampunk, if you like really tactically interesting dungeon crawl adventures, you might have a fun time with Machina Arcana. But on the other hand, if randomness annoys you, if you don't like the possibility of a game just spiraling out of control and being unwinnable because of some bad rolls, or if you don't want a game that for a whole campaign can take 3 or 4 hours, you might want to give this one a pass. And if you want to see the game in action, Colin and Barrett did some videos when they were on the channel, although it is with some of the older rule sets, so not everything is going to be up to date. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.